Real Talk.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Real Talk. We really had a lot of real talk about gold standard of entertainment. Of course, we were talking about Hollywood. We also talked about the rise of Korea as a global entertainment superpower. And that inevitably brings us to the Philippines. Right there. Speaking of the Philippines, maybe we want to start somewhere relatable to everyone, right? Which is, I don't know, Itbulaga. I think that's like the closest thing to
what
that.
everyone is talking about now.
Exactly. So, as of this moment, we're discussing Itbulaga is the issue as far as the Philippine entertainment industry is concerned. And the reason is not because maritas lang tayo, no? The reason is also because I think it's emblematic of some of the tectonic shifts going on, just to be nice about it, as far as the Philippine entertainment industry is concerned. So, Jhett, as our resident Hollywood dancer, anong basa mo dito sa latest mga drama dito sa Itbulaga? I mean, what is Itbulaga to you? Because you're almost coterminous with Itbulaga. I hate to say that. I'm sorry. I said that. Oops.
That's right.
Oops. Wait, 30 years lang siya sa GMA, diba? 27 years. So, we can...
No. Mas matanda lang ako ng 2 taon kay
Itbulaga.
Oo. Kaya talaga... doon talaga ako lumaki, no? Yung basa ko lang is, I think it's about, bottom line is the miscommunication.
Between the two camps, more or less.
Yeah.
No?
And then from a distance, because I've seen different interviews.
Correct.
From each party.
Ayun pala eh.
Yeah. I'm friends with Lana. I've met Bullet.
Right.
I have never met the other camp.
He's taking care of that. Ikaw na sponsor nila.
Sinundan ko yung istorya.
Yeah, sure.
I followed the story. And it seems like, again, it was a miscommunication. Mm-hmm. And kasi dahil tayong mga Pinoy, medyo sensitive masyado, it boiled up.
Yeah, and then the moment na pupuntahan sa media, each camp has their own echo chamber, feeding off on each other. We should know that very well, right? So,
exactly.
It got out of control.
And I cannot believe na hindi muna sila nag-final talk with lawyers sana. Kasi I know this franchise has been operating kaibigan system, which from the get-go was wrong.
But this is forged in the 1970s, right? So back in the day, siguro
I didn't expect that it would last 44
and be
years.
so big
And be so big after all this time.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying there's like the senior, and then now it's transitioned to a new generation of management. Inevitably, there'll be major succession. Major succession series. Yeah.
In every business, kinanta niya ni Axl Rose, di ba?
Right. I know what you're saying, yeah.
So, nothing lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
40 years is close to that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
kailangan i-cover mo pa din ang basis.
Correct.
Contracts. Copyright.
Right.
Again, wala na tayong magagawa because we can't turn back the hand of time. Pero sa mga susunod, sa mga susunod, no? Because this should have been protected. Because to me, it's like a national...
treasure, yeah.
It's a national entity.
Correct.
Diba? Ano na to siya? Established, na talaga sa...
I mean, all of us, right? We have formative years. I remember back in the day in Baguio, there was a time sa bundok ako nag-aral, so I'll go up there. I know I kind of come off as konyo, but actually, nag-aaral ako sa public school, ng high school at some point. I'll go to Bundok, then come back, eat sa Lola, then go back. And then Itbulaga was like the feeling and all. Yeah.
My fondest memory of Itbulaga was Little Miss Philippine.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, all of us have that thing about Itbulaga. Like, ikaw.
Part of our lives eh.
Yeah. And we live close to where it's shot, right? Like our location.
Ako mas medyo bata ako, yung Aldab na yung naabutan ko.
Oh, sorry.
Pero yung level ng popularity nung Aldab nung 2016.
Which was a global phenomenon, no?
Very big talaga.
What do you think of Aldab? Let's talk about also Aldab. Kasi we talked about BTS and all separately.
Anong Aldab?
May Mendoza and
Aldrin Richards? Aldrin Richards.
Ay, isa to sa mga love teams?
Yes. It had like the record of the most retweets ever or something like that. Remember? And then Lea Salonga made some shade, and then it backfired or something like that.
To those who don't know, pasensya na po, I'm not based in the Philippines.
Of course.
Hindi ko na alam yung mga kasi I left the Philippines 2002, di ba?
Yeah.
But part ako ng mga, oh my God, noon una, lokong-loko ko between yung kay Cheryl Cruz at kay Romnex Sarmenta.
Oh.
Diba? Nandun ako, I experienced that, and then all of a sudden, I realized, hindi sila nagkatuluyan. I was like, oh my God, sinayang ko yung panahon ko.
Masyado ka kasing invested.
Yung mga, diba, I wrote fan mail, yung mga ganyan-ganyan. So, again, now that I'm older and wiser, I just look back and I said, wow, yeah, I wasted too much time on that. Hindi nila nagkatuluyan.
And that's part of Philippine talaga ever since sa entertainment natin. Pero ako, i-point ko lang dito sa tape Halos Sauce and Eat Bulaga issue.
Yeah, let's
Kasi
go.
I've been covering it daily since nung
As a
nag-break
vlogger,
out yung issue. I think isang mali dito on the part lang nung pinaka-dad na Halos Sauce, he should have exposed the second generation earlier.
For working relations. Leveling off.
Kasi it's like they went in last year or 2 years ago na hindi ganon ka-close with everyone.
Tapos pandemic time.
And siguro yun in hindsight. But once again, that's in hindsight, di ba? So, nagkaroon tuloy ng misunderstanding na ganon. Parang sila, on the side of Tito Vic and Joey, they would say, we've been doing this for 40 years. Tapos, papasok kayo, you will tell us what to do. Ganon.
Dapat na kasi
Pero
sila ng
well,
succession sa HBO series.
Kaya
may ganon
understand.
Sa nakita ko sa mga interview, wala talagang, yung isang brother lang ang si John, yun lang na naupo with the TVJ. Hindi talaga, and then Bullet went on their station. So yun nga, parang hindi na pag-usapan ng mabuti. And I wish na bago each camp would have sort of like, not naman throw the first one, yung slingshot lang.
Dapat, shot across the bow kind of
sana
thing.
somebody would have just mediated them. Like, listen, before we go any further, anong ramifications, di ba? Kasi yun nga and then eto na, parang pa-derail na because may mga bagong offers na sa kanila. So,
And have you seen the new one? Yung bagong cast? Ay, grabe yung negative bashing ngayon sa
Sige, you wanna go through the...
Kay Paolo Conte.
I heard some very mean stuff. Maybe you wanna say.
No, so eto na naman tayo. Instead of doing something constructively,
blow it up.
Magdi-divide na naman tayo, di ba? So, it's not for the national interest. So, yun lang yung masasabi ko.
But it's for the interest of rival shows.
It's just chismis-driven. It's Marites-driven.
It's unprofessional. It's not pro.
Who wins at the end of the day? Diba?
But ganito just to be fair, before we go to your good interventions on the reviews and all, like parang na all TV ata yan. No, I mean, for me, we are in a very sensitive, polarized, problematic moment in Philippine media landscape. As someone who has worked with all the big media networks, right? Yung ABS nawala bigla sa eksena, biglang may gustong pumasok na bago, hindi naman gumana. Ang gulo And then GMA Network, where I used to work with, just disclosure, 5 years I worked with them. They're also trying to navigate to see if they can be dominant player, etc. So I think, and then Willie Revilla, umalis siya noon, try to make, So, feeling ko all of this contributed plus the pandemic. So medyo Twilight Zone situation. So I don't think everyone was in their, standard operating procedure mindset when they approach it. Kaya I'm not surprised na I'm saying things conflagrated the way they did. But speaking of conflagration, kamusta yung 2.0 Itbulaga, or as Daryl Yap, ano sanabi niya?
Hindi kasi cheat Bulaga.
Hindi ako nagsabi yan. Wala akong sinabi dyan.
Iba yung, siyempre, people will look
You watched
for
it? You watched the thing?
Yeah, I watched yung buong episode Monday, the first
you're
episode.
A patient man, my friend.
And they were saying really negative stuff like mukhang mall show. They comparing it to Sunday Pinasaya kasi parang ganun yung
parang
production.
gulo, like parang energy ganun lang yan. Like,
ganun na ba talaga ang future natin?
Purong carnivalesque, parang ganun.
Pero ako, naisip ko lang din, yung sa Eat Bulaga has been around for 44 years. Pero parang same formula pa din. Parang shouldn't we be evolving pagdating sa entertainment? Parang hindi ba parte
But evolution doesn't mean you just throw away something, put something new, right? Like you tweak and twist and
yan nga,
improvise.
the way I see it, ito, i-inject ko lang in terms of professional advancement. Kasi nga, the way I see it, networks here or studios are just feeding what the masa
Yes.
Kung ano patok sa masa.
Or basa nila sa patok sa masa. Because we were discussing how that's also changing.
Diba?
Right?
Yung mga love teams na ganyan. Pero in honesty, walang Walang kabuluhan. Walang naidudulot sa...
Sinabi dyan. Real
no,
talk,
I'm
real
just
talk.
saying.
Real talk. Baka makancel tayo dyan.
In trouble, di ba?
Hindi siya nakaka-add sa personal development ng isang tao.
Parang distraction
wrong?
lang siya, pang
It just
lipas
sells
oras.
movie
Oo
tickets,
nga.
it just sells.
Oo. They're all my friends. Pero yung sa akin sana...
Kaya nga, we're just being constructive here.
Oo, sa akin, I know there's market for that. Yung sa akin sana, bigyan nila ng pansin kung saan tayo pwede pang mayagpag na iba pa.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Kasi I've been approached with some of the people here to consult or do something. But ayoko talaga because alam ko na eh. They want me to operate on what they want.
Yeah, yung business model.
Yes. Kasi ako, iniisip ko kung sa labas. Kasi
Correct.
yung Philippine audience, isang market lang yan. Napakalaki ng mundo. Diba? We are so rich with talent and stories na hindi siya natatranscribe in all its full potential.
Correct.
Kasi things are done cheaply. Maraming sinishortcut. Tapos, may mga game show din naman sa ibang bansa. Like, they're popular sa Japanese games.
Yeah.
Diba? They're popular sa YouTube. Yeah,
Takeshi
nandyan ako sa iyo
kasi.
na kampante na sila. Wala silang
How
improvement.
do we balance that? Yung, syempre, they need to make money, but also we also want to try to get different audience from abroad.
Yeah.
So how do the big stations find the correct balance for that kaya?
Oh, well, again, una, dapat meron silang new development.
Strategy.
Na strategy. Test out kung anong patok sa iba. 'Di ba? And then, not naman biglaan na i-change mo, just little by little.
Yeah.
Tingnan mo kung papatok.
May transition.
What should they target? Should they target Netflix? Should they anong platform sila will they reach yung mga
For the game shows?
No,
I mean for...
yung mga locally produced na mga shows. How can we target yung mga...
You mean benchmarking?
Foreign-
What's our
Well, to
benchmark?
me,
platform do we
kasi from
target?
networks, I don't think na Netflix would be an ideal. Because nasa YouTube na sila eh.
Yeah. Diretso na.
Oh, diretso na.
Correct.
Ikakat mo na lang yung...
Hindi, kasi parang minsan, di ba, they would produce shows for Netflix, pero sa Philippine audience lang.
you're talking about other
Oh, that's
content.
different. That's like the... Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
Oo, tama. Kaya, well, that's another bigger conversation with the local filmmakers and content creators dito siguro. Because pati pa din sa kanila, yung parang ano ba, yung vision ng horse. Diba?
Yeah, narrow.
Oo,
Yeah.
Naka-focus lang doon just for the
Right.
Filipino audiences. So, para sa akin, hindi yan content development.
Is it a gatekeeper problem? Like they're just the same people who have been running the show for far too long or passing down the same playbook?
There's a sprinkle on that, no, sa gatekeeping. But still, it boils down to the content creators eh. Kasi wala ngang... Eto sasabihin ko lang, I'm really an opponent to foreign films, especially US films na dinadub sa Tagalog. Ay, iritang-irita ako, Richard.
Kailan ba nagsimula yan? 10 years na ba yan? Or something?
Tagal na, merong ano, pero mas madami lang.
Iritang-irita ako
Yung
because
mga cowboy movies pa
I'm
eh.
looking for the future. Right? Kasi ako lumaki ako sa squatters area, sa Iloilo. Di ba? Doon ako lumaki. Natuto lang ako mag-English because I started watching foreign films.
Correct.
Tapos tinitingnan ko kung paano sila mag-pronounce and mag-enunciate ng words. Doon ako natuto.
So it was a free education to you.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Kahit hindi ko pa alam kung anong ibig sabihin ng mga sinasabi nila. Right?
Gets ko. It's just like,
because
you know...
that's the education part.
Yeah.
But that medium, tanggal na ngayon. Tingnan mo ang English na nakadub sa Tagalog. So, I'm thinking about like 15 years from now, 20 years from now. Kahit ngayon nga di ba yung tao ngayon, kausapin mo lang sa English, tapos sasabihin, nag-nosebleed ako.
Pag diretso. Pero kung Taglish, you can
That's
get away.
not funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny because they're already surrendering to the edge of the Philippines. Kasi, Philippines is known to be the only Asian countries that can speak English well. Diba? So, doon ako nang gagaling na I wanna protect
Uy,
that.
grabe ka naman. Magaling din naman mga, mga Singapore, India.
Yung mga elite lang yun, Richard.
Right.
Yun yung nakakaano ng mga international school. Pero in general population,
Yeah, like the average
kaya nga
show,
yung Netflix dito nauna sa atin, di ba?
Can you tell us about that? Like, I heard that the idea was Philippines should be the Asia hub, right?
So it should be. That was the first try.
So what went wrong? What happened?
They tried. They produced some shows and then hindi na-digest ng mga Filipino audiences. Sabi nila, okay, they studied the market. So they cannot understand the Philippine audience. Bakit? Ang number one is patawa. Walang kabuluhan, pareho ang istorya, nag-iba lang yung location tsaka yung cast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pero if you compare it, ganun ang nangyari sa ilang taon na may coma, may kinidnap,
Third party.
Oo, panaginip lang pala, 'di ba? So pare-pareho, walang
medyo recycled.
Recycled material.
So there's a plot problem.
Kaya nga yung sinasabi kong development, 'di ba?
Yun nga eh. Kasi I mentioned the plot problem
Yung demand problem, yung
nagsusurrender sila.
But it's a chicken or egg. How can you how can you change aesthetic preferences kung parehas lang, you're just feeding into the same cycle, right?
Because they live off of that. Kaya nga, I know, hindi ko rin masisisi
we're stuck at a low equilibrium in terms
that
of
kind of
industry,
content feed the entire company. I get it. Yung sa akin lang, there has to be in these companies na merong nag-concentrate on
a little
development.
Going down.
Yeah,
doon na rin yung
envelope.
education.
Yeah.
So, yung sa akin, tanggalin na yung dubbing ng Pinoy. I know there's some people also who make money out of it, pero ang nagsasuffer in the long run,
buong bansa.
tayo pa din.
Yeah, buong bansa.
Kasi yung mga bata natin, hindi na yan marunong mag-Ingles 15, 20 years from now. Hindi na. Kasi ano pang outlet nila ng education? Kasi they grew up with walang nag-i-Ingles.
Siguro that's a good point din. Kasi yung masa natin, if they get to watch yung English movie na yung kung ano yung talagang meaning, kung ano yung talagang, they get to appreciate it more. They get to appreciate more quality films and more, na hindi yung kung ano lang yung nakasanayan nila na pinapalabas all the time, di ba? So, hindi, maghahanap sila ng more quality. Mas malaking market for
But you were saying in the latest Manila Film Fest that you think there's green shoots of appreciation of
production value ang sinasabi ko.
Okay, production value. Okay.
Hindi naman English yung deleter eh. Hindi. Yung content niya, bagong concept.
Right.
Who would have thought that there's an industry like that? And again, kudos to the filmmakers behind the film.
Yeah.
Kasi out of the 8, yun ang pinili ko na panoorin.
And you liked it?
Yeah, of course. Kasi
great.
bago nga, fresh.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this is what I'm talking about, lighting, giving light to industries like this, yung hindi na pag-uusapan. Hindi, tama na po yung mga poverty porn. You know, kasi ang daming
vloggers. Alam na natin. Alam na yan. Punta ka sa Pinas, tapos gawa ka ng video gano'n.
Kung ganyan din naman ang...
Paki-explain nga poverty porn doon sa mga hindi na-gets kasi I think some people are not appreciate.
Okay.
You romanticize the misery of people and then go there and save them and like mga ganyan.
Yung concept nga, yung mahirap is the bida. Yung mayaman
yung
is kontrabida.
Yeah.
So doon pa lang yung mindset ng content, ba't pa ako yayaman, gusto ko maging mabuti.
Yeah. Or kahit kawawa tayo, materially,
si
we're morally superior.
Ganyan. Tapos si mahirap, mabuti, sa baba lang, ganyan. Po, ma'am, sir, ganyan. Iba yung kasi from the mind, maliit pa lang, doon na nakaano. So ang ibig kong sabihin, the way we treat society is also, that's education to me. Right? So baguhin na natin. Not all the mayaman is bad. Diba?
And poverty is not necessarily a good thing.
Dapat yung mayaman na to, doon tayo mag-strive to be there.
Right.
Kung anong mabuting magagawa ng mga mayayaman. Okay? Hindi lang, dyan ka na lang parati.
Right.
Parati ka na lang, may bakbakan
aspirational.
doon.
That's what you're saying. We have to be aspirational.
So that should reflect on our movies, on our series.
Yeah, kasi it's value system, diba? Like in your case, coming from the slums in the provinces and now finding yourself where you are, like, what was the force that helped you aside from within? Like, what were the external stimuli or whatever. Yeah.
Again, I have to point it towards the kind of films that I was watching.
So mahalaga yan, yung pop, yung culture, yung mainstream cultural
Imagine
exposure.
nung lumalaki kami, yung TV namin, dial pa yun.
Oo.
Black and white. Diba? Ngayon, di pa click-click ka na lang, nasa cellphone na.
Yeah.
So, we have so many choices, right?
Yeah, ngayon especially,
Yeah, we have so many choices in different forms of medium.
Yeah.
Right? Andyan lahat. But I wish I'd like it to start from the Philippines also na sabay-sabay tayo to promote yung tingnan kasi yung kids natin are the future of the country. I mean, that's from Jose Rizal, di ba? Kaya nga, ano man ang feed natin sa mga kabataan ngayon, doon na sila lalaki.
They're not even, they're the present already. Like, they're the biggest voting bloc, right? I mean, I don't want to be political.
And I
No,
know
I'm
from
talking about
younger age pa.
talagang from age 4.
Right.
From age 4 to
Grade
12
school,
because that's really when you
Formative
conceptualize.
talaga,
Oo.
Right, the 4 to 12 is very important. And of course, it also affects, I mean, if you're, as a teacher, right, and your experience is dun sa class, gusto mo rin magkwento, di ba? At gusto mo i-connect dun sa everyday experience sila sa entertainment industry, kinoconnect mo. So kung yung entertainment industry may ganito, mapipilitan ka rin bilang guro na mag-adjust din doon. Kasi pag ako, English ako, tapos ganito I will come off as the weirdo one. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kasi they feed off on each other.
Siguro ako, when I was a kid, when I was in grade school, we had cable noon. Ang papanoorin ko, mga series.
Mayaman.
Friends,
Mayaman.
yung mga Beverly Hills,
Exactly.
90210, Melrose Place. So, yun yung mga shows na
I
appreciate ko.
watched Melrose Place. I watched, what's this? Yung sa Ali McBeal.
Ali McBeal. I was about to
Oh
say
my
that.
God.
Oh, si Calista Flockhart.
Yeah, yung mga ganyan.
Yun,
Batch pala kayo eh.
Hindi, so,
Ako yung pala yung bata eh. Hindi ko
after,
naabutan.
yun ang nakahiligan ko. Pag makikita ko na yung mga local na series, bakit ganyan? Parang baduy.
You see the you see the quality. You see the quality. Again, this is not in a konyo mata pobre.
No,
We're just saying the Filipino audience deserve the best quality stuff out there, and let's not deprive them of that, right?
Again, kasi nasa public space yung ginagawa, di ba? I mean, we have to think of the next generation. What are we leaving behind? So, us being the, wiser and older nga,
More exposed, rather.
Yeah, so yun, we have to think of their future also. Why don't we do content where, again, an inspirational, rich,
aspirational,
aspirational also at the same time, na pwede silang i-aid na mag-thrive or somehow, be like them.
Right.
Hindi naman na mayaman, dami namang asawa.
Yun din, di ba? May kabit, may gano'n. Like, it's just paulit-ulit na the same plot, the same. I mean, I got into a lot of, I have enough haters, right? But I got a lot of more haters when I kind of echoed the Liza Sobrano, like the overemphasis on the love team thing. And I said, maybe we want to level up our plot. So marami nagalit sa akin, people from the industry. And that's the problem if you just read one tweet and forget about everything else I'm saying, right? But it is what it is. But my point is like, production value is very important. We discussed that, the Mickey Lee role in Korea, etc. But it's also important that at least in bare bones, which is the script, right? Which is the skeleton of the production, is also a little bit pushing the envelope. We're not saying let's go right away, I don't know, Succession level HBO series. Sorry, I keep on going back to but you push it. Because for me, ang sense ko, and I had an interview with our good friends, a lot of good friends in our industry. Mama OG, for instance, even she was saying na, actually, dahil sa Netflix, mga ganito, yung taste din ng mga tao, umiiba kasi, ganun pala, that's how you do like a fantasy show. I mean, no offense to Lastic Man, right? But once you see, forget about the Spider-Man, like once you see the other Asian version, like just Thai movies na fantasy, or even mga Bollywood ngayon, yung RRR, yung may tiger, ganun, like, ang ganda ng special effects ngayon, di ba? So, doon malalaman ng tao like, what we have been missing all along, right?
In fairness ngayon, like yung ginagawa nila sa Voltes 5 Legacy.
Exactly. So I think, in fairness, like, okay, before going back to constructive criticism, what are the good ones that are inspiring you now? Like, what are the, what are the green shoots here sa Philippines that are giving you hope? Aside from the one you mentioned a while ago about the plot is fresh, like, what else?
I have
views.
3 films that I would like to shoot here, of course.
Yeah.
Bago, I just can't talk about it openly like this.
But can you give us ideas?
No, I mean, well, my my new one that I'd like to do it here next year. It's a dark comedy satire on 7 original sins.
Right.
So, eto naman ang answer ko sa... This is like a Crazy Rich Asian version of the Philippines.
Right.
Wow.
I thought answer ko sa Brad Pitt movie.
No. No, it's
crazy,
again, these are ensemble 7
That's
characters.
good. That's good. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
That's
may script na
perfect.
kami and all that. And I want to showcase isa rich lens naman, na yung mga ultra rich sa Philippines, but embedded in these particular characters within the film. Right.
It's satire, right? So it's kind of showing that what's ridiculous. Absurdist, exactly. Like medyo next level decadent.
Exactly. You know, ganyan ang mga...
Ridiculous, I know.
Ganyan ang mga
It's next
atake
level.
dapat. There was yung paborito kong Filipino film na nasa Netflix ngayon, actually, Birdshot.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Right.
Yeah, I love that content. Yes, they are poor, but that's not like the main character of the film. It takes away from the poverty itself, but it's about the preservation of the birds, right?
Right.
So just like that, i-detach mo lang. Wag ka nang
Don't be too constrained by just
and
one
too
angle.
Too much of that because the content is good. So sa mga ganyang content, nakikita ko naman na marami actually good yung Ordinary People, yung nasa Netflix din, di ba?
Right.
That's poverty. But anyways, if only they had like better equipment.
Yeah, so major production. So here you have a
value.
situation where the plot is good, but the production value should be a little bit...
Because they were operating only in very limited budget.
But at least they're pushing the plot, so if the budget comes in, the two can, the stars could align.
There's also one, Khalil 15. I love that film also.
Right. I mean, Maria Clara for me is a good one from a series point of view, historical, give it a little bit of a twist, modernist, etc.
But again,
if
if there were just added some budget on that, I think the production value would have...
Sa akin, nakakatawa yung in terms of special effects only, diba?
Oh, yeah.
Yung Voltes 5 Legacy is doing really well. Diba? Ang gulat ako, mga Pilipino pala yung gumagawa ng mga...
bro.
We are capable of doing ganun kaganda. The problem is...
May mga nagdi-disagree ata.
The special effects walang problema. Pagdating na dun sa plot, nung mga characters ng Voltes 5, naging Philippinized na. Yung isang kontrabida na may sungay, sleeping dun with the isang girl. Wala sa cartoons na he sleeping, na parang may bed scene sila. Kasi kailangan pasukan ng ganun. Dahil yun ang
might not be a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't know. Pero
parang ganun special effects.
But wait. Shouldn't it be a family-friendly?
But may kabit.
It's with GMA eh. Yun ang ganun ang family-friendly.
Is this a series?
Yeah, teleserye.
I heard very good things about it.
Batang Quiapo.
Okay.
Which is also doing very well, right? Batang Quiapo. Can you also tell me about your take on Batang Quiapo?
Yun lang talaga.
Juxtapose me in dalawa.
Batang Quiapo. Coco Martin is... I enjoy watching Batang Quiapo.
Yeah.
Pero talagang it caters to the masa.
Also, it's the same formula.
It's same formula pero at the highest level of catering to the masa.
I get what you're saying.
Ang dami na, may unlimited bala sila ha.
Unlimited bala.
Yeah.
And
bottomless iced tea.
The same na parang good will always triumph against evil. And
no, we're not saying those things should go with. There should be always that. But ang point lang natin, sana may diversity naman, di ba? I think none of us are, I
things that we can really sell outside.
And especially, put us on the map in the right way.
Yun ang tanong ko, like, especially with the movies you're making, where do we sell sa outsides? Where do we start? Do we start sa US market? Do we start sa...
No, you can't just say that on top of your mind. You have to strategize from the beginning.
So, yun nga.
There has to be a clean-cut strategy. Development-wise. Because European films, yung premiere, are completely not suitable for mostly North American. Vice versa. Right? So, when you develop a script, you should have, again, a
target audience.
Exactly. Because ano ang strategy ninyo. Even up to what streaming. Because like to me, the ultra highbrow would be HBO.
Right.
That's why hanggang sa ngayon, undefeated pa din ng HBO sa awards.
Quality-wise and talagang
exactly. They really do.
That's why they can't produce that many series din kasi
exactly.
the
Pag
quality
HBO, quality talaga yon. Kung gusto mo lang ng commercial na edible sa lahat, then you go to Netflix. But pero medyo mag-edge ka ng konti that you could sell globally, there's Amazon. Right?
Pero per area pa yon, you have to target pa. Iba yung market ng Netflix sa Europe, iba yung sa
exactly.
Asia.
No. Para sa akin, in all my projects, I have to identify where I would like to get recoupment.
Right.
Then you focus on that. Then you can, switch some dialogues because some dialogues are not edible to one continent.
And you were also saying na it should be SAG-AFTRA.
Well, that's the basic.
Can you explain to, kasi marami ang di nakakaalam.
Oo, sinasabi ko na to sa mga kakosa ko dito sa Pilipinas that the very first thing to do is to elevate from all of us is that pwede tayong ibenta outside of the Philippines. You go and do the content through SAG-AFTRA.
What is SAG-AFTRA?
SAG-AFTRA is the union. It stands for Screen Actors Guild. So sila ang union ng mga actors. Meaning, once you have the logo of SAG-AFTRA in your films, well, I mean other films are legit, but this just gives you an edge that
ISO,
you can be
Parang ISO, parang you follow certain standards in terms of paying your staff.
Exactly, and the crew na walang
quality.
Kasi before doing any project, nakadeposit na yung payroll sa SAG. Okay. Exactly.
Maayos talaga.
Maayos talaga.
No room for Mambo Jumbo,
Exactly. Walang
walang
mandurugas.
Exactly. Oy, baka bukas na yan. Next week na yan. Andyan na yan.
Your movies, you always...
I always do with my SAG-AFTRA.
Andyan yung logo sa mga movies.
Kasi, eto for those who don't know, pag kasi ng pelikula, pag magaling ang producer na wala siyang issue sa SAG, so 40% of your payroll, hihingi niya ng SAG upfront. Hindi ka pa nakakapag-umpisa.
Deposit na sa kanila.
Pag may problema ang producer, medyo may issue na siya before na report, ganyan. Kahit minsan umaabot sa 100% ng payroll, kinukuha ng SAG. And then it's that particular deposit stays with them for like 2-3 years.
I see.
Just to make sure na walang issue sa mga cast na hindi nabayaran. When you say cast, kasama na yung background actors. Kasi yung mga background actors, bayad yun. On standard pay ng SAG.
Mahalaga yan.
Are other Filipino production companies doing that then? Or konti lang ba gumagawa niya?
I don't think so. I mean, again, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Kaya, kasi yung target ko nga mabenta sa ibang countries.
So you're leading by example na lang with
like
your
yung
movies.
Lingua Franca, yung ginawa ko na Lingua Franca. So we were picked up by Luxbox sa Paris, which is a reputable distributor. Tapos sa North America, pinick up ni Ava DuVernay sa Array Releasing. Kasi pag wala yung logo mo ng SAG-AFTRA, generally, the film is categorized as a B film. So kahit anong galing,
Ayun pala, mahalaga talaga siya.
kahit anong galing na mga Filipino films dito, if they're not done under an auspices of a union, may it be DGA, may it be IATSE, it cannot cross over commercially.
Yeah. Ma-filter out ka immediately.
You're saying na sa thousands of films being made every year,
150,000.
150,000.
At least 150,000 films produced every year globally. So you can imagine, di ba? Ba't ka prioritize ng mga distributor kung ang film mo hindi nga nagdaan sa union eh?
Yeah. Immediately, you're out of the conversation for tier 1.
Padala mo ng padala, ganyan-ganyan, walang papansin.
So doon pa lang, it's not being done by other production companies.
Kaya nga ito don't quote me, but the way I see it, it's the silent politics in Hollywood. Kaya kahit anong galing ng mga films from Asia.
Don't quote me, you said it already. It's like,
no.
It's too late.
No, what I'm trying to say, this is just my observation.
Yeah.
It's not a written rule. Okay? Observation ko lang to. Kasi pag baka sinabi nyo, i-quote nyo ako na nanggaling sa kanila. No. This is just my observation. That's the way how to do it.
So yun at least basic SAG-AFTRA
kasi yung logo na yon, pag may union logo ka, it elevates already production value.
Right. Right. What else are your
What else
advice
do we
on
need?
that?
Do we need more training for
Yeah.
our directors here? Do we need to expose them abroad or?
Well, to me, iba-ibang atake yan because there are those directors who stay in a different specific genre. Like Love Diaz. He is already a master, right?
Right.
I love Diaz storytelling. But again, it's not generally a commercial
Indie movie style ba
Oo.
yun? Yeah.
Tsaka yung, he's a master of long films. Kasi I've seen a few of his films, hindi mo mapapansin ang oras. Because he really gets you to be in the film. At least that's my experience with Love. Si Brillante naman, iba rin ang atake. Meron siyang yung mga cameras na medyo magalaw-galaw, no? So, ganyan ang
Dynamic, yeah.
So, biruin mo si Love Diaz has already 2 Golden Lion
right.
sa Venice.
Yeah.
Diba? Love has a Cannes.
Yeah.
Tapos si Eric. So, those are my top 3 directors dito sa
The
Pilipinas.
Magnificent Three.
Oo.
Yeah.
So, hindi tayo kulang sa talent. It's just,
Hindi. Kasi yung ibang mga bago, yung si Red, yung sa Deleter, you know, so these are, I think they're millennials or Gen Z or I'm not
Correct.
sure. So pwede na silang mag sort of like research online. Marami ng platform, 'di ba? So iba-iba generational nga. Although I personally did not study producing or directing, but I did them anyway, right? Kasi ako self-taught and then because of my experiences, doon ko hinatak. And then not the kinopia, but I formulated my own space. It's like sa Asian Persuasion na ginawa ko. Yung sa atin dito, I want more content development sana.
Can you tell me more about what you're trying to do here? I mean, there's a reason why you're in the Philippines, right? And now we have a chance to interview on multiple occasions.
Yeah, well,
Tell me what is your project? What are you up to? What do you want to achieve? Yeah.
Originally, I was looking for the Filipino Mickey Lee.
Mickey Lee, yeah. So just to recap, this is essentially how should I? She's the linchpin, right, of the
Korean.
emergence of Korea as a
K-pop
great
culture.
superpower,
Everything.
entertainment.
Yeah. Kasi na-notice ko sa 2023 Forbes list, 14 ang billionaires from the Philippines.
The declared ones. I mean, I'm sure there are more. Just to be clear.
Good point. But yes, 14. So, tiningnan ko yung list na 14. I would like to meet with the 3. Right?
You think medyo Mickey Lee-ish?
The top 3, you know.
Yeah. You mean just as rich as like it's just
of course, Manny Villar is 1, 2 is Razon, 3 is Ramon Ang.
Right.
So, I'm trying to get to propose kasi buo muna ako ng pipeline. Ngayon, I'm left with 34 projects.
Right.
It started with 40. Yung iba ay lahad to let go because ayoko namang withheld ang mga directors and writers to wait for me.
Right.
So, ayun, iba nagawa na. But these are contents that mostly Asian content. Asian.
Can you give us some idea, like, what are we looking at here? Like,
Well, just
combination of what?
Yeah, just
What's the constellation?
just like with the one that I'm trying to do next year, the comedy satire absurdist of 7 Original
Absurdist,
Sins. Yeah. So that's all SAG-AFTRA, of course. Kahit
Sure.
mahal, I wanna do that because I wanna be the example also.
Exactly.
Filipino story, Filipino cast. I have to add some there, not completely Filipino, but done in the Philippines under SAG-AFTRA.
Of, by, and for the Philippines.
Exactly.
And the world, of
But
course,
the content is much edible, especially in Europe, right?
Right.
But then I also think of the North American market because
What's the difference between the European market and the American market?
European kasi, mostly yung content nila is cerebral. I mean, content that would make them think.
Right, like they want to leave and have existential reflections.
Yes.
Mga ganyan,
To
diba?
them, art is, you have to leave them broken,
Yeah.
savage, and, they have to think about what
Right.
they saw for like
Essentially French.
days.
It's essentially French. Like,
Yeah, you could say that. But in North America, it's more commercial.
More like us. Like,
Something light, but also their substance.
So more balance. Like one is like art is what shocks and make you
Yeah.
think. That's the European, the Americans. Well, that entertains you, and at the same time, there's some level of quality to it. We got a good balance there, something like that.
Asian is mostly scattered because it's cultural barriers across the region.
Yeah.
So yung billionaires pala, kamusta yung naging reaction nila?
There was one that I reached up to 4 meetings.
Oh.
The conclusion is that the company has to concentrate on the recovery.
ROI?
No.
Their own
The
situation.
recovery, their own situation.
Pandemic and all that.
They're liquid. It's just that right now they can't entertain a new business concept. So
But they're open down the road.
it wasn't a no. So, again,
Just give us some time.
4 presentations that went well. There was also one that I got to 2 presidents of the affiliated companies and took me to the big boss, only to find out, I was supposed to be only there for 30 minutes and I stayed in the office for 4 hours because they loved my presentation. They want to do it, but they burned billions of pesos from the other engagements that they're not liquid at the moment. So I'm still not giving up. So before I came over to the Philippines last week of April, I've realized that Mickey Lee, she's in her own category by herself.
Singular
person. So I thought, okay, I'll open up my company into subscription. So that's because, 4 quarters make $1, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's what
baby Mickey Lee.
Yeah. So that's why I'm here trying to find out whoever has the appetite to diversifying their portfolio. Because I understand the businesses here are mostly in hospitality, manufacturing, retail, healthcare, education. So these kind of companies are usually just want their cash flow visible daily, if not weekly, right? Or monthly. Kasi what I'm proposing is for a 20-year company.
Which is the Wall Street way, right?
Yes,
They go for ubiquity. Like Amazon, a lot of them make money for like 10 years. Even like Tesla, right?
Yeah.
But they look long term.
It's a long term with strategy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
to
proposing.
open the door for Philippine movies.
Philippine.
in the whole world.
So you might be the Mickey Lee without, the billions.
Na
but
wala
you
ng pera.
but, the Mickey Lee minus the money, right?
Yes.
But hopefully you can bring it together.
I've curated my pipeline. I've weeded them out.
Right.
Alam ko na kung saan to pupunta. And there is one particular, I'm so excited because a Marvel guy, Filipino, left Marvel. We have already one film to do here, which is about folklore. Oh, it's so beautiful. I cannot wait to but it's just one of the projects in the pipeline.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's big. It's gonna be big.
Wow.
It's gonna be big.
I can see a lot of potential on that front. If let's just assume this is kind of like a master class, just on closing notes, what is your advice for the Philippines, for the present, for the future, business-wise, entertainment-wise, and, education-wise?
I think firstly should come from mindset.
Okay.
Again, just like Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. If you want change, you have to start with yourself.
Yeah.
So yun nga yung sinasabi ko, yung mindset na yung mahirap is mabuti, yung mayaman is masama. It's not true. So
much more complicated.
But give chance to both sides and let them. And yung content naman para sa akin, you just don't look at it as one. Ako kasi I usually just grab it, tear it up, throw it, and put it back together now with a multi-layered substance.
Dynamism, fusion.
Kasi otherwise, if you just take it as is, it's so simplistic. Tapos yung dito is madalian. Ngaragan is the theme. Diba? Kung kailan kung kailan lang available si Star.
Yeah. Very spontaneous. Lagare.
Yun ang...
You're right. It's not professional. It's not sustainable.
It's part of the changing the mindset. And I think this has to be done collectively across the board. That also the studio would understand that one, you have to throw in some more money
Take some
so that
risk,
the production value would be much better. And then also for the production company to start clocking the work that no one should work more than 10 hours.
Right.
Value every human life. And daming nang namatay dito ng mga filmmakers. Kaya think about them.
Yeah.
Life isa lang yan. And yun nga, I always stress about the professional advancement. Once you've reached something that's already out of bounds and maganda ang resulta, don't stop there.
Right.
Don't stop
Follow
there.
through.
Exactly.
Follow through, yeah.
And if you can, I know again, merong market sa mga masa lang, but try to slowly bring them up also.
Yeah.
Kasi para lahat tayo sabay-sabay. Kasi kung anong finifeed mo, yun that's about their life.
But then again,
also.
my sense is like, the masa is not like just one monolithic, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure,
It's a big
tastes are
chunk of our
evolving.
population.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they have dynamic
They are
tastes,
actually
and,
the number one economic driver of our nation.
They're making these billionaires to billionaires,
Yeah.
right? So we owe them something.
Yeah, last quarter, how many, was that $32 billion money from OFWs?
Oh, yun pa yan. Yeah.
Yeah, yung mga free money that's flowing in the country,
we
diba?
have to,
So we have to
give
guide
them what
them
the best.
responsibly. Responsibly.
Because the reason I'm saying this, Jay, is because I don't want to also come off as patronizing, like, oh, we should tell them what they want. My
No.
point is like, we have to give them the options. We have to give them a taste of the best out there
Yun nga.
beyond what is just being fed there all the time, because they deserve better than that.
Isa pa, sa mga theater owners natin, for the life of me, I've been looking, I want to go to the movie theaters.
Right.
My God, anong nakikita ko? Puro na lang yung big franchise sa Amerika.
Right. Isa pa yan. So you think we should do French?
To be honest with you, I don't pay to buy those films. Kasi sa akin, ang laki na ng kita nila eh. I'll just watch it for free sa streaming. Pero kailangan natin ng mga content na independent.
Right.
You should support more our local movies.
Yeah.
Hindi yung first day, last day na
Oo, mahal na yung popcorn. Doon na lang
Alam
kayo
na natin
kumita.
yan kasi marami. In fairness naman, I think we went to the movie house this past year so to cover some of the movies, including some, quote-unquote movies. Yeah. On that note, thank you very much, Jhett Tolentino, for this kind of a magisterial overview of the increasingly competitive global entertainment landscape. But with that comes not only challenges but opportunities.
And responsibilities.
And responsibility, especially dun sa mga may resources, mayaman, but also people who have great ideas and have the energy and the dedication like people like you. Thank you very much, Jhett. I really appreciate it. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ka, Jhett. Continue to do this, and we hope to have you more in the future with good updates on your projects and all. So on that note, thank you very much again, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Real Talk. I know nawala siya for a moment, but it's still Real Talk, right? We continue the Real Talk. Maraming salamat and God bless.
Real Talk